Oh, I've got a stain on my top. Of course I do. Okay, so today I'm going to share with you my story on how I was able to have a baby against all odds. So I've never really done this kind of video before, so bear with me please. It may be all over the place. I probably will miss out important details, but if I do, I can come and I can sweep them up in a later video. Or if you do have any questions, if I kind of miss anything out or skip over anything, just let me know, because I am open, I'm honest. I want to share with you my experience in the hopes that it may help you, it may reassure you if you're struggling with infertility, if you're just at your wit's end because you don't think you're ever going to be able to have a baby. I just hope that this video, I hope it can be positive for you and just kind of let you know that don't give up, because there's always a way. Okay, so I recently posted a video where I was talking about my experience with adult acne, and in that video I let you know kind of through what we determined was the cause of the adult acne, and also I kind of talked about what the treatment that worked for me ultimately. This video today with my infertility kind of story kind of links in with the adult acne, because I think the reason why I was struggling to conceive was also the same reason as to why I was experiencing the adult acne. And when you've got something like a medical issue going on, you spend so much time Googling, trying to find out about other people's experiences. You get to the point where, although you desperately want to find a cure, it's almost like the most valuable thing becomes a reason. You want to understand, why am I going through this? What's causing it? It's so much easier filming makeup videos, honestly, because I don't really like talking about myself particularly. Okay, so when I was in my mid-20s, all of a sudden I started to experience adult acne, and this was coupled with the fact that my always very kind of consistent regular periods, they just kind of suddenly stopped. So this was kind of happening when I was at university. So honestly, the issue with the lack of periods, it didn't really bother me, if anything, at the time, because I was young, free, just wanting to have fun. If anything, I kind of looked upon it as being like a, way hey, this girl's not having periods, woo, whoop, whoop kind of situation. But the adult acne really got to me, because it was really bad. It was on my face. Acne just destroys your self-confidence. So I got the adult acne and my period stopped. It was like the acne just swooped in, and then the periods swooped out. So I was at uni for 3 years, and although on occasion I would have a period, it would be extremely sporadic, and they just weren't there. They were not coming. Aunt Flo, she was not coming to town. I was doing all of my doctor's heads in. I was being passed around like a Chippendale at a hen party. I was really kind of being my own advocate, because I firmly believe that with anything kind of medical related, you do have to be your own advocate. We have doctors and medical professionals for a reason. You're only here once, as far as we're aware. We only have one body. You have to prioritize your health. That's something that I live by. You can't just ignore health problems. Even though I did ignore the lack of periods, I did. Okay, I did. But anyway, through investigating the cause of the adult acne, I kind of found the cause of the periods, which would help me further down the line. So I went through a series of blood tests over the course of 6 weeks. So I had a blood test taken once a week for 6 weeks. So they were measuring my hormone levels and assessing the fluctuations throughout the month. I believe that the reason why you get your period is because the estrogen levels drop. I'm not quite sure, but just Google that, guys, because I honestly don't know. But what I can tell you is the only kind of abnormality they found through those tests were that I had low estrogen. And because I had low estrogen, I think the only kind of main hormone was testosterone, and that testosterone was ruling the roost. It was like the Lisa Vanderpump of hormones, dominating. It was dominating things. And I believe that's what caused my acne. So anyway, fast forward about 10 years. And by the way, I've, throughout this time, been taking the contraceptive pill kind of on and off, which if you take the contraceptive pill, it causes you to have a bleed, but it's not like a natural period because your hormones are fluctuating. It's just like a bleed because you stopped taking the pill. So then I don't know really, again, so sorry guys, I don't know, but I was taking the pill on and off, and at that point, if I was not on the pill, I was not having any period whatsoever. There was nothing untoward coming out of my vagina, and it didn't really bother me because honestly, like, if I'm going to be really truthful, which I always will be, the main issue that I was really concerned about was the acne, and by taking the contraceptive pill, that cured my acne. If you want to know more about that, then I have posted a video, so if you want more detail, go check that out. But basically, I started to take Dinette, which is a contraceptive pill, which is meant to be really, really good for skin, and I can definitely tell you it worked wonders for me. It may not work for everyone, and I know it doesn't, but it worked wonders for me. So yeah, I would urge you to check that out if you're struggling with what you suspect might be hormonal acne, under the care of your trained expert medical professional, of course. So I never really wanted kids. It just wasn't something that was, on the kind of bucket list for me, like, whatsoever. I was not one of these girls that wanted to get married, wanted to have kids, wanted to have like this whole family situation. I was an introvert, a loner, preferred just to like spend time by myself. Like, it wasn't even that I didn't want kids, it was just that they weren't even like something I even thought about until I met Honeys. And before I met Honeys, I was single for 6 years. I dated people, didn't want a boyfriend, couldn't be asked with that. Yeah, I met Honeys, we were dating for about 9 months or so, and all of a sudden, for whatever reason, I have no idea, I suddenly thought, I want a baby. I want a baby, I thought. I mean, I don't know why did I think that? And I'm really glad I did, but I don't know. I don't know if it was maybe something about, it was the Honeys factor. Like, I met Honeys and all of a sudden I thought, I really want to have your baby. I just don't know, but all of a sudden, yeah, I thought, let's have a baby. So at that time I was taking Dinette, so I was using contraception, but when I kind of wore Honeys down and we decided, yeah, we'll try for a baby, I, at the back of my mind, was thinking this may not be that easy because I've not really had consistent periods, and I've had issues, with low estrogen. Like, I have low estrogen. Do I need to get like a t-shirt made? Don't come here if you want estrogen. Only one estrogen per person because we have to ration it because no fucking estrogen. Anyway, I just went into my whole like, oh, let's have a baby, blissfully ignorant of the fact that it could probably be quite challenging. So after about 4 months of trying, which I know isn't a really long time, but I was lucky enough to have private healthcare at my work. When I put my mind onto something and I decide, you know what, I want that, I go full force. I do. There's no stopping me. So I decided to go for like a consultation with a private, I don't know if they were a fertility doctor or more just like hormone specialist, but yeah, I went full force on that, and we discussed everything, and then we came up with a plan, taking into account the fact that I'd had the previous test which had indicated that I had low estrogen. The specialist decided, right, probably the best course of treatment for you would be something called Clomid. So keep in mind, this is like maybe like 10 years ago now, so my memory is quite foggy, and I'm not going to be like trying to like fill in the gaps or make things up to make the story better. Like, I don't remember everything 10 years ago. Like, I can't even remember stuff from yesterday, although it's very strange because I can remember every single word from Break Stuff by Limp Bizkit. It's just one of those days where you don't want to wake up, everything is everybody sucks, you don't really know why, but don't justify, rip someone's hair, no human contact. Anyway, I'm not going to bore you with it, but how do I know all the lyrics from that song, but I can't remember something that I did yesterday? I don't know. So the specialist advised that I take this medication called Clomid. I did a load of my own research, of course, but I thought to myself, well, let's give it a go. Apparently, I think, if I'm correct, please research this, so if you want more info, and take what I'm saying with a pinch of salt. But I believe that Clomid, it kind of instigates ovulation. It's an instigator. It's like the Giselle Real Housewives of Potomac. It's like the Giselle of the fertility drugs. It's an instigator. It will cause things to happen, but kind of stay out of it at the same time. You know, you basically take the Clomid. I think you take it every day, and then at the estimated time, like when you should have your period, I had to go into the clinic and they would take blood from me, and then they would let me know if I had actually ovulated or not. So I went through that cycle 3 times. Each time there was no sign of ovulation. So like at that point, I think that's when I started to like feel a bit hopeless, and I was thinking, oh gosh, like I don't think this is going to be as easy as I thought it was going to be. I think it was like the 3rd time and I'd gone in, and I only had enough money for like, I think it was like a 4-month supply, because I think Clomid is fairly affordable compared to like IVF. So I was thinking, oh my gosh, like it's going to be the last time. Like this is the last time maybe that I could even try and get pregnant. So anyway, 4th month comes, I go in, they do the blood test, they tell me I didn't ovulate, and I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. Fast forward a month later, this is where the story gets good. Okay, so I know we've been on a journey. It was good when I found out about the low estrogen. Then it's kind of gone bad again with the tracking the ovulation. It's going to get good again, right guys? Because on New Year's Eve, I decided I was going to just take a pregnancy test. Did I think it was going to be positive? Definitely not. So I took the pregnancy test, and sure enough, it was positive, and I was just like, holy shit. And then it made me question the healthcare professionals, because I was like, well, how have I conceived if I didn't ovulate? So that was really bizarre, because they said, you've not ovulated. And it's like, well, how am I pregnant? How am I pregnant? Unless they just got like the timings wrong, and maybe like if they tested me the day before, they would have seen I'd ovulated. Probably just my estrogen, because my estrogen is such a like sassy little fecker. It probably came, got me pregnant, and then just like fucked right off again. It was like, fuck off, like I don't know why I'm here. Why am I here? I don't come here. This is not the place I come to. I don't know, but I got pregnant. I was so happy. Had my beautiful baby boy, Andreas, who I just absolutely adore to pieces and just feel so grateful for. So I had Andreas, and then, right, okay, so baby number two. And I hope that this also gives you hope. And believe me, right, I went through years and years and years. I think it was like 3 years in my 20s, and I did not have one period, like not one period. So I really hope that this gives everybody hope. So me and Honeys wanted to have 2 children, so I'd successfully managed to have 1 against all odds. And I was kind of just in my mind, just thinking, well, we're definitely going to have to go through the Clomid thing again. And it was fine. I was fine with that. It was okay. I was prepared to do that. So I had Andreas, and fast forward about 15 months later, I was still breastfeeding Andreas. And oh my gosh, right, this is just another heads up for you. If people tell you that when you're breastfeeding, you are infertile, do not believe them, my friends. Do not believe them, because in the midst of still breastfeeding Andreas, I suddenly, like, I don't know, I've gone through like a month of feeling very like dizzy a lot, like, but I just kind of blamed that on low blood sugar because I was breastfeeding. I was really, really busy. I was back at work and trying to juggle everything. So I just kind of ignored it. But I definitely was not feeling so good for about a month. Yeah, Honeys was like, oh, well, maybe take a pregnancy test. So I was like, okay, I'll take a pregnancy test. By the way, we weren't planning on having another baby for at least another year. So it was definitely not something on the horizon. I wasn't on any contraception at the time because A, I was breastfeeding, and everyone lied to me about the fact you can't get pregnant while you're breastfeeding. And B, I'd had to kind of take fertility drugs to conceive my first child. So I was thinking, well, I'm not at risk of a unplanned pregnancy. I'm just not at risk. Took the pregnancy test one night. I was so convinced that I definitely was not pregnant. I just weed on the stick, put the stick on the back of the toilet, fecked off to bed. And I just said to Honeys, you just check it before you go to bed. It's fine. Because I kind of did it for Honeys because I didn't think I was pregnant. It was him. He was suspecting. So Honeys checked the pregnancy test, came in, and he was like, oh, how many lines did you say? How many lines for a positive test? I said 2. So he was looking at it and he said, oh, no, we're fine. No, there's just 1 line. We're fine. And I was like, okay, phew, okay, wonderful. I didn't think I was pregnant, but phew kind of feeling. And I kind of rolled over in bed. And then he was like, oh, wait, how many lines did you say? And I was like, two lines, honeys, 2 lines. And he's like, oh, there's 2 lines. I was like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck, honeys? Seriously, honeys. So I looked at it. I was pregnant. Oh my gosh. Like, and believe me, like, although like we were not planning on having another baby like that soon, it was the right thing. It was the right thing. I mean, I was freaking the fuck out. I felt really, really guilty because I felt like it was too soon, because I just felt like it was too soon. Andres was too young. How could I be pregnant now? But on the other hand, I was just so grateful, because I don't know if it was like the Clomid that just sparked my fertility back off again, or if it was the pregnancy, because I have heard that. But take this with a pinch of salt, because I also heard that you can't get pregnant if you're breastfeeding. But I have heard that after you've had a pregnancy, like in that, especially the first few months after giving birth, you're super, super fertile. I don't know if that's when you're breastfeeding, but I don't know. But anyway, I'd conceived naturally. And yes, it was very soon, but I was just so grateful, like so grateful to have been able to conceive naturally. If you are struggling with infertility, like I know there's so many different causes as to why you may be struggling to conceive. The main kind of aim of this video is just to let you know, which you've probably done. And I feel like a right dick just kind of giving you this info, because I'm sure you've done it. But I just hope this video gives you hope. That's it, really. That you can struggle. You can be in a hopeless, kind of desperate place where you think, I'm never going to conceive, and it will happen, and it can happen. And if you push it, be your own advocate. You know, I know all over the world, the kind of healthcare industry is so kind of strapped for resources, and I think now more than ever, you do really have to just put yourself first and push so that you can get what you want, girl. So that you can get what you want. Also, I just wanted to say that, so when I found out I was pregnant with Alex, we booked in for a scan, you know, to kind of date the pregnancy. And so I'm thinking, oh, well, I'm probably like 4 weeks, maybe 6 weeks. You know, normally when, like, if you've ever had a scan and it's like your first ever scan and you can't really see anything but just a blob bouncing about. So that's kind of what I was expecting. No, that's not what happened. So on the monitor, it was like the first thing I saw was like a fully formed spine. A fully formed spine. Turns out I'd been pregnant for 4 months. So Alex was in me for 4 months. Didn't have a clue he was there. He was like a ninja, the ninja baby. I just really hope that this video has given you some hope. If you are struggling with infertility, I think it's a lot more common than like anyone would ever think. And I just want to let you know, please don't give up hope. It will happen. It can happen. Just be your own cheerleader. Get yourself in front of the specialists. I know it's expensive if you have to do it privately, and I know it can take ages if you don't do it privately. But all I would say is just please hang on in there, okay? If you've got any questions, like, you can ask me. I may not remember everything, and the last thing I would ever want to do is give you info that isn't correct, but I'm here if you need me, if you want to talk, if you want to share your experience in the comments. Please feel free to do so, because I want this to be an open, non-judgmental, honest, supportive forum, you know, for everybody. That's all I want. That's what I want my YouTube channel to be now. So thank you so much for watching, for taking the time to listen to my story, and I really hope to see you in the next video, and I wish everyone happiness, positivity, and I want everyone to get everything that they want in life, because you deserve it. Bye guys.